This is The Joe Gaither Show on BamaCentral.com.
Good afternoon, Tuscaloosa, Internet World, West Alabama. How are we doing today on this Thursday? This is The Joe Gaither Show on Bama Central and BamaCentral.com. You're checking us out on the Bama Central YouTube channel. Appreciate everybody for watching us. You're listening to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or on Amazon. The Joe Gaither Show on Bama Central. We're going to have a lot of fun on this Thursday. We're going to spend a lot of time talking about our time in the BJCC, watching Alabama defeat Illinois, get back on the win column for the basketball season. Now 3-1 on the year. And to do that, we'll be joined by my friend Mason Woods. You follow Mason at MAWoods_ on the Twitter machine. And we're going to have a lot of fun. We might get into football, but I have a feeling this basketball conversation might go a long time. So we'll just see where the hour goes. And we appreciate everybody jumping in and joining us. We're live in the Derek Daniels State Farm Studios. You can find us just off McFarland Boulevard, past the Tiger Rock on the left, over here in Northport, Highway 69 North. You can call Derek today, 205-758-3391 for all your insurance needs, home, life, auto insurance, whatever you need. Derek and his team can take care of you today. Red, Reese, and Victoria are waiting upstairs. Call them at 205-758-3391. Call and see how much Derek can save you today. Mason, we're joined by Abby once again. I felt like I left her cooped up in the house all afternoon and evening. Well, most evening and night. We didn't get home until a little after midnight last night, so I feel like she didn't need to be thrown right back into the crate this morning. So Abby is with us. Alabama is victorious. How are you doing, my friend?
I am doing as good as I can be. That game was I saw a lot of things I wanted to see in that game, as you know, the best way I think I can put it. Obviously, I think there's still some things that, and we'll get into it. There's still maybe some things to work on, but I'm extremely happy with Alabama's performance. I thought a lot of things went well for the Tide last night. You know, you get I guess a neutral site game, but I mean it's basically a home game.
There was actually a decent amount of Illinois fans.
Okay,
there.
so there. So you know,
I mean, obviously,
you get somewhere outside of Coleman Coliseum,
85-15, 80-20, something like that.
But you know, at the end of the day, you get somewhere that's not Coleman Coliseum, so you get to play somewhere new. You get to show your team off to some new people who maybe don't get to see you, and I'm very happy with what Alabama did last night.
Yeah, so I guess we'll just start there. We'll start with the venue, we'll start with the crowd, and then we will. I feel like maybe the best way to do this today is to just go player by player, because I've got stat broadcast up as well, and then we'll just kind of go every player. You know,
I do want to hear about the venue because I haven't been able to go yet.
Never been to
no, not yet.
Okay, so
not since it's been all the renovations.
Oh man,
and things.
it is beautiful.
Really?
You need to go. Really bad. You've got. I went to the Liberty game last year, the Gonzaga game 2 years ago, and obviously this matchup was somewhere in between those two as far as the crowd goes. It was not 100% full, we'll just be honest, but it was 75-80% full,
Pretty
somewhere in there. I read that there was issues in the ticketing office with maybe people who bought tickets and never received them, or never received, just something happened. Some logistical something happened with the ticketing office, and I think that kind of hindered the crowd from getting to 100%. Very, 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 very difficult for that. But BJCC is beautiful. They put the media in basically you've got the court, and then the media, it's on each end.
Yeah, I could see the tables on the broadcast. That's pretty cool spot.
Yeah.
Oh man, speaking of the broadcast.
Oh yeah. Tell me about that.
I was furious last night.
You missed Grant Nelson going ham right off the bat.
Oh, I mean, when I tell you, I am pacing back and forth through my house, like screaming at my phone, at the computer, at the TV. I'm sitting here refreshing stat broadcast on my computer, just like, what? Grant Nelson? What? You mean to tell me, SEC Network, we're going to watch
playing volleyball?
Florida and Auburn. Auburn is the bottom of the SEC in volleyball.
Eagle, baby.
They're terrible. I looked into it. because I had to see. Oh, maybe this is a good matchup. There's no reason that game needed to be on television. You do not need to relegate a top 25 college basketball game to streaming so that we can put like a regular season bottom of the barrel SEC matchup on the TV. I was so mad. I was furious. Oh man, yeah, no, that got me so fired up. I was so angry. It would have been like
y'all didn't get to the game until like 11 or 12 minutes in, right?
It was halfway through the first half. I didn't get. It was so ridiculous. Like, oh man, it'd be one thing. It would have been one thing if that had been a tournament game, something. It was just a run-of-the-mill regular season matchup between Florida, who is very good. Florida's right at the top of the SEC in volleyball standings. But Auburn is awful. Their season's over. They have nothing to play for anymore. Why is that game on my television? I was so mad.
Oh, that's insane.
Oh, count your days, SEC Network. I'm coming for you.
To me. That's wild to me. They couldn't either junk the timing to mess with it. I mean, obviously, with Alabama, you're already playing at 8 o'clock, so it was a little bit late for us, but I mean, it worked out fine. Like, yeah. I'm not. Don't hear me complain. That's fine. But for TV purposes,
that was crazy.
Like, how do you do that?
Whoever made the call to leave the volleyball matchup on there and relegate the top 25,
not even a double box.
It was ridiculous. Like you got the constant score update on the bottom. That was all you got with the yellow bar that said live on SEC Network Plus, just spitting in your face.
Tom Hart was on the call, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's your A man.
I was so angry.
Your A man, your A play-by-play guy, and Tom Hart does a great job. I think he does a great job.
Oh man,
is in Birmingham. Like, you gotta go to his programming, right?
I was so angry. But alas, I did get to eventually watch it. Eventually, got to tune in and saw some good things. But man, don't do that again, SEC Network. Don't do it again, because the next time it happens, I'll illegally stream the game just to spite you. SEC
the whole
Network.
Time. We're not even going to switch over.
No, I will not even switch over. I'll just do it the whole time. I'll watch the little dancing cat in the corner of my screen. I'll watch the chat of people talking about games that have nothing to do with what I'm watching. I'll deal with it just because you, SEC, you made this bed.
They got a lie in it. Well, when you tuned the game in on, I think Alabama was probably up 17-11 at that point, because Alabama jumped out to a quick 8-point lead. Miss Abby, would you stop biting me? Thank you very much.
She's cobbing.
She's just 17-11.
Yeah,
Grant Nelson. Let's start with Grant. Let's start with Grant, because we'll take this player by player. Like, so to wrap up the atmosphere, it's beautiful atmosphere, beautiful arena, and the crowd was good. The crowd was hot. For the people who were there, the 75-80% capacity, 80 maybe 85% capacity, they were into the game. So like,
that's good.
It felt good, and we were sitting in the media section. We were fortunate to have the Alabama student tickets right behind us, and so that felt like
pretty
even
good showing.
More. Yeah, exactly.
Good.
It felt like even more of an atmosphere. They brought it, cheering the whole time. Coordination pretty good. And Alabama wins. Let's get on the court. The show is started by Grant Nelson. Grant just comes out and rips three.
Yeah.
3 in a row.
Didn't get to see any of it.
Ultimately ends up with 4 threes, 4 of 9. Like, he kept shooting.
He cooled off a little bit right as I got to tune into the game. But
it was your fault.
Yeah, basically. Maybe I should have just turned it back off, I guess.
He can't play. He can't play on SEC Network on real
That's
TV.
what it is.
If he's not on TV, like his days back at North Dakota State, maybe he's ripping threes left and right. Brad Underwood, Illinois coach, comes into the postgame press conference and says, "Oh, we are pretty happy with this game," and says we did a lot of things right. They made some shots, and says their 3-point shooters. I think he was like, "Oh, what did he say?" Reitzel was 2, so that's 2. Holloway was 3, that's 5. I think he said that their 3-point shooters were 5 of 10. Yeah, because Sears missed 4. So whatever. But and then he was like, their non-3-point shooters were 5 of 20, and he calculated that's Grant's 4 of 9. That's Mo's 1 of 3, and that's Aiden Sherrell's 1 of 4. So that's really 6 of 20. I'm sorry. I've got to I know when you're look, if you're coaching against Alabama,
Mhm.
you're going to have to live and die with some things.
Yeah.
Some things are just going to have to take. You're going to have to say, you know what, we're going to take our chance with this strategy, that strategy, whatever the case may be, because Alabama is that loaded.
Mhm.
And I guess maybe letting Grant Nelson shoot threes is one of the strategies you could live with.
It's a strategy.
All right. He goes, oh, because he's a career 29% three-point shooter.
Mhm.
And I'm thinking to myself, yeah, but he's a career 29% of three-point shooter, probably because he's been mostly contested in a lot of those. You're not going to just let the man stand out there on his own, just like, hey, guys, I'm just out here by myself.
Yeah,
like
29% is not low enough of a percentage for me to feel confident being like, yeah, that guy can't shoot.
Right. I think in a real game, and especially from a big who's you're not getting a lot of shots. It's now Grant's getting more than most,
Yeah.
but like as a big, you're traditionally not getting a lot of shots. I didn't think that was the smartest smartest of plays.
That's an odd strategy to take. Especially from Brad Underwood. He's been in Illinois for a while. Illinois has been good for a while. This is someone who knows the ropes of college basketball, at least so we think. That's an odd strategy, and it's really like the best I can say about it. I feel like looking at this team, that's not really the route I would maybe take. I think, comparing the two teams, Illinois matched up physically pretty well size-wise. Maybe you go after that route a little more than just trying to say, all right, we'll let this guy who has shown to be at least a somewhat competent three-point shooter because he makes 29% of them. We're just going to let him blindly chuck them up for the first 5-10 minutes of the game. A really weird strategy. Obviously, it did not work. They got down in a big hole right at the beginning because they were letting Grant Nelson just fire threes at will, and he was making them at will. So, I mean, right from the jump, your game plan goes out the window. I'm not really sure how you can walk away from this game saying, yeah, well, I'm pretty happy. We did a lot of good things. So that's kind of loser talk. I don't know.
Oh, well, I mean,
you always have to find your victories. Sure.
It's their first Power 5 game of the year. I think that he probably thought,
that's fair.
We went up against a really good opponent, and we played pretty well, and there's some things to work on.
Absolutely.
There's some things to lean on going forward, blah, blah, blah. Grant goes 19 points in the first half. He goes 4 of 7 from three-point line in the first half. He goes 4 points in the second half. He's 23 points on the day, 8 rebounds, 2 assists, 4 blocks, a steal. And was your best player or almost your best player on the night. I just through what are you now? 5 games. You're 5 games in now. You're 4-1, right? Yeah, you won your 3 bye games and another, so you're 4-1. I like what you've seen Grant really growing into it. He's asserting himself from an offensive standpoint, going to get his shot. I think that he's a player. Look, especially if you're going to get what you're going to get from Mark right now over the last 5 games. And really, Mark's been fine outside of last night, right? It
was a tough game for Mark. I mean, I think he struggled a little offensively just compared to what we're used to. I think he led the team the first game in scoring, but I don't know. Has he since then?
Yeah, his game logs. Okay, look, he's been absolutely fine since last night. It's 20, it's 19,
so
it's 15, it's 15.
So nothing to worry about. It's an off night. It happens.
Fine. But if you're gonna get an off night from Mark, it's great to have Grant say, "Hey, let me go dunk 23 in there." Hey, doggy, get away from his computer. That'd be nice. It's really good to have a second player who can say, you know what, I can shoulder the load and maybe lead these kids around and help these kids score a bunch of points. So not a good night for Mark.
I don't think it's anything to worry about. Hey, if some people maybe take this differently than I did. I thought it was pretty neat. You saw Mark Sears. A lot of people maybe saw it. Was in the gym till like almost 3 a.m. last night putting up shots.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he posted about it on his Instagram story.
Wow.
Whatever. But
If you post about it, does that?
Yeah, that's kind of that was a bit of the takeaway.
What
I
do they
saw-
say about prayer?
I saw
pray
it,
in private.
I saw somebody had reposted it on Twitter that he had put, but whatever.
Your
The point
prayers,
is, he was there.
your prayers that you pray all boastful, and I'm
You
praying
know,
to God about.
I find it a little
I'm
hard to
shooting
believe that
three,
he got out of bed at 2:30 and walked over to the facility and took a picture inside just to post it. He was probably there putting up shots at the very least.
You don't think they jumped the timestamp?
Maybe.
It was like really like, hey, we're gonna take this right when we get home, and we're gonna because you can schedule.
Yeah.
I taught somebody something yesterday. I taught somebody that you can schedule an email for a certain time. It was like, I gotta set an alarm to wake up really early to send an email at 6 a.m. I was like, buddy,
Schedule it.
just write it right now, and you can schedule it to fire off at 6 a.m.
Wonders of technology.
Yeah. So like maybe Mark Sears, you junking the timestamp on your
I'm going to choose to believe Mark Sears.
I am too. I look.
I love Mark. He's giving me no reason to doubt him.
What a quintessential University of Alabama athlete, like Mark Sears. Of course, you're going to believe him, and of course that he's going to take that hard game. Now, here's the question. Post game, Grant Nelson says, "Oh, it's leadership." He's asked, "Oh, what's it mean about the team? What's it say about Mark that you can go on win a game by 13, win a ranked matchup with him scoring 0 points, something to that than that." Trying to basically ask Grant why he scored no points and how the team kind of responded and what that was like. And he said, "Oh, it shows Mark's leadership. Mark knew that other guys were feeling it and was really encouraging the other guys and was really vocal and getting the other guys going, and essentially didn't sub himself back or kept himself out of the rotation in the second half." Let me see when the last time he got into the game. It'll show me his last sub out right there. His last sub out was at 11:27 in the second half. So the last 11 and a half minutes were played by Latrell, Aiden, and LeBaron. And basically during this course of that time, Coach Oates is, "You want to get back in there? No, let the other guys get back in there."
Yeah.
And Oates praises his leadership as well for saying that, and throws him in the categories of the Herb Joneses, who said Herb's done that before, and we've had other guys who have done that before who have said, "Hey, X players,
not my night,
X players doing good, leave them in there. Y players doing good, leave them in there." So what do you make of that, Mason? Because I got two different flip sides.
Yeah,
I got two different sides narratives for that.
Yeah, I think my initial reaction to it was I like that. I think that's a stand-up move. I think considering the position he is in with the amount of talent on Alabama's team, top to bottom, that is probably potentially a pretty realistic spot that he was in, where he's like, all right, yeah, no, the guys that are behind me are very good at basketball, potentially better than me at basketball, and they're having a great night. So let me just let them go out there and cook. Now, maybe to get to maybe potentially what you're teasing at, the flip side is something a little more negative, and maybe potentially a bit of a negative light on Mark Sears. But I don't know. I do think that I think he's been here long enough. I do think he's a very vocal leader on this team. I think a lot of the players on the team look up to him, respect what he thinks, respect his opinion. So I'm going to choose to buy the Mark Sears, said, "Hey coach, it's not my night. Let the young guys get in there." So I think I'm going to roll with that. But yeah, there's definitely something else it could be.
Look, the company line, Mark Sears, great leader. I'm going to drink that Kool-Aid all day long. Give me that Crimson Kool-Aid, and yes, Mark Sears, you're a great leader, great player, X, Y, Z. And he is. Look, he is. There is just a small, undertone. You had a tough night up at Purdue. Yeah. We said 15 points. We 15 points, but let's see, where am I at? Right there. There's game logs. Game started minutes. 50. Yeah. 15 points. You're 1 of 6 from 3-point line. You're 1 of 6 up there. That's what I was really looking for. And then you ended up having four turnovers. Only 2 turnovers against Illinois. But I just. You're seeing people online talking about confidence issues. I don't think it's that. I wonder if I'm going to focus on my defense has maybe taken him out of an offensive flow a little bit. Now, obviously, these other games, these other offensive numbers are really good, and even 15 points on the road in Mackey Arena is a good night on 4 of 9 shooting. So, like, you didn't, excuse me, on 5 of 15 shooting. Obviously, you can be better. I don't think it's a confidence issue. I do think it's a plus. It's a positive leadership to say that, hey, LeBaron and Ayton are balling.
I mean, they were crushing it last night.
Yeah, exactly. You like recognizing. That's a great leadership trait to know that, hey, I can go hands off and my guys can take care of it. Absolutely save your legs for another night.
He's like a quarterback getting it out of his hands really quick. The guys who are actually
there's just a small concern for Mark and did you just have another tough night and think I'm done for the night, I'm packing it in, and did you just saw an opportunity? Did you see an opportunity to say, hey, you know what, I'm waving my own personal white flag and I'll do something? No, I think that's the crazy talk. I think that's silly talk. I think that's ridiculous, but I do think that there is a small line of thinking that goes that way.
Yeah, I certainly think that's possible. And I definitely think, I can see it. I don't, like I said, necessarily think I agree with it.
Toughness question.
But yeah, I can certainly see it happening, especially just, you look at what he has done, what he did last year. He was like the primary offensive option.
Right. He was incredible.
Yeah, we come into this year and he
pointed out his numbers. A lot of tough nights last year.
Yeah,
a lot of tough.
But I think it's. I don't think it's that. I think he's just. I think he's a good leader. I think he recognized that the guys that are behind him, whatever, behind him on the bench, or he just recognized his guys are having a good night and said, hey, I'm not having a good night. Let's just keep doing what's working and no need to switch it up now.
All right, so we appreciate what we saw out of Mark from a leadership standpoint, guiding the team to their first Power 4 victory of the season over Illinois, 100-87 in the CM Newton Classic in the BJCC. Let's talk about 2 of those guys that had a really good night. You want LeBaron or you want Ayton first?
LeBaron, Frolon.
LeBaron,
let the braids out.
Yeah, okay. First half. Let's just start with this. First half, I'm gonna play 12 minutes. I'm gonna give you 3 of 6. I'm gonna give you 3 of 6 with 3 rebounds, 4 assists, and a block.
He was awesome
in the first half. And then the second half, if you didn't like my scoring numbers, you thought I was just a little passive right there, I'm going to give you 10 points. I'm going to give you 4 more rebounds, 5 more assists. I wasn't done there. And then no blocks but 2 steals. I'm going to pick you for 2 steals. For all in total, 16 points, 7 rebounds, 9 assists, 2 steals, and a block in 32 minutes. For the best player on the floor for 5 games for Alabama.
Yeah, we talked about this yesterday, and you said that, and I kind of, bounced around it, danced around it a little bit, didn't want to commit to that, but no, I will commit to that. LeBaron Philon is the best, most exciting player on this team through 5 games, and he absolutely has been that. He's just so much fun to watch. If you have not, taken time to actually sit down and watch a full Alabama basketball game, please go home and do so, or get to the game and do so. Whatever you want to do, like you need to see LeBaron Philon play basketball. He is absolutely electric. The things that he is able to do, he has such a just like natural feel for the game. That he always makes the right play. It seems like.
I was driving home last night thinking about, is he the best freshman? Is he the best freshman Nate Oates has ever had through 5 games? And I was asking our partner, my coworkers, and I couldn't get them to. They couldn't get enough service. And so now that I have service, I can see this. And no, he's not. He's close. But Brandon Miller, 14, 20, 19, 28, and 24 in his first 5 games, along with rebounds 13, 8, 8, 8, 8, 9 in his first 5 games. So like Brandon Miller's still the standard.
Yeah.
But
that's a hard standard to reach.
Huge. But I thought, man, as I'm in the press room, I thought, I was real
to even have people like thinking about that. Though,
I was questioning, was Brandon this comfortable?
Yeah,
was Brandon this impactful? This and obviously he was. Now these opponents are Longwood, Liberty, South Alabama, Jacksonville State, and again Michigan State. So you get a really good one in the last one. But just LeBaron looks like he has been playing college basketball for 3 years.
Yeah, he looks like a seasoned veteran player out there. He looks like I said, he just has such an instinctual, natural feel for everything that's happening on the court. He plays with he just plays off of instincts. It looks like, he's never thinking about what he's going to do. Everything is decisive. He makes the right move. He makes the right cut. And he makes the right pass, whatever it is. He just knows the flow of the game, and you can see it. I mean, when he is on the court, Alabama just looks like water out there. It's amazing.
Brad Underwood said, "That's a bad boy right there."
He is not wrong. He's not lying to you. That is a bad man. LeBaron Philon. Whew. I mean, he shot. I don't really. I honestly have a hard time putting it into words. Like it's just so smooth. He plays so free and so without any restrictions or anything like that. It's very, it's enjoyable to watch.
All right, so from LeBaron to the other, not a freshman but newcomer, Aiden Holloway. Almost done the whole game. He almost finished the whole game without missing a shot. Aiden Holloway, I've got you right there. 18 points, 7 of 10 from the floor, 3 of 4 from on the arc. Oh, I thought you, Joker, said that he couldn't shoot. 3 of 4 from behind the arc, 2 assists, 1 rebound, and 1 steal. No turnovers. You like that. You'd like a little bit more from some of those other statistics, but 18 points. You're second on the team in scoring. Looks pretty comfortable in the system.
That and 1 3 that he hit with the guy draped over his back. I don't know. It was relatively late in the game, probably like 5-6 minutes left. Alabama had a decent lead at that point, but that shot, he was awesome. We just got done talking about how great LeBaron Philon was, and like he was, but they played differently. Like they had very different performances. You look at the stat line; they're pretty similar, but like the way that they played, I think
LeBaron's doing more outside.
He's doing more like facilitating,
right?
Yes, Holloway. And I don't know if maybe he can sort of develop this role as the season goes on. I imagine he'll get more comfortable in the offense and more comfortable dishing it out to some people and finding that rhythm with his teammates. But
is he more just like Latrell Jr.?
He might just be. And if he is, that's okay. Because if he wants to take that role, obviously he can succeed.
Right. So with 16 last night.
Yeah. I
keep going with Aiden.
Aiden, I mean, if he wants to jump into that role where he kind of wants to play that spot up shooter and just kind of bounce around the perimeter, make a cut here and there to the basket, not really have to worry about the handling the ball, facilitating to the guys, making things happen offensively. I think he could find himself very comfortable in that role. Yes. You look back to Auburn last year where he struggled a lot at times, having to be that guy that was making things happen offensively. And I think you look at the game last night, he looked like he was having fun. Like he looked like he was just having a great time out there. I think he likes this role. I think he will thrive in this role if they just let him.
Do he and LeBaron, are they perfect compliments? Because LeBaron can just dish in get into the lane and make things happen. And here I am, Aiden on the wing.
It's so hard to defend. I don't, man. That duo is they unlocked something last night. It kind of felt like.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun as we keep going. Alabama plays Houston on Tuesday in the Players Era Festival. We will not be there, unfortunately. golly, I was hoping so bad I could figure out a way to get out to Las Vegas. But we will not be there. But we will obviously be covering the entire Players Era Festival. Let's keep going with the guards, and then we'll hit a commercial break before we get to the bigs. We're going to go to Latrell Wrightsell, who's also in with 16 points on the night, 4 of 6 from the floor, 2 of 4 from beyond the arc. He's got 2 rebounds, 4 assists, 4 personal fouls. Watch them hands, 2 turnovers in 30 minutes. Latrell, 3 in the first half, and then 13 in the second when things get kind of tight. His second half buckets are let's see if I can't figure this out. Good layup at 7:06. Free throws at 3 minutes. Good free throws down the stretch. So yeah, it's a good 3-pointer right out of the gate to get you started in the half at 18-12 for his 13 points.
Yeah, I mean, I think kind of like what we just talked about with Aiden, he played very well in this role of kind of just being not the main guy that makes the offense drive, but maybe the main scoring option, if that makes any sense. You know, the only negative thing I look at with what he did is maybe the 4 fouls, but you didn't foul out, so it's okay. I got no problem with it. He played fine. He played pretty solid defensively, I thought. I don't remember seeing any times where he was slacking, other than just kind of where the team as a whole maybe slacked a little bit in stretches. I was pretty happy with what Latrell Wrightsell did. I think he will continue to be one of the top scorers on this team as throughout the season. He'll have some games where he absolutely explodes, and he'll have some games where he maybe doesn't shoot that well. He's just kind of going to be one of those things. He had a good game last night.
All right, so let's hit a commercial break, and then we'll talk about the Alabama Bigs. We're talking about Alabama's victory over Illinois at 187 last night. And as we continue on with the conversation, we want to tell you about our friends, Purple Turtle Roofing. You can find them today. They're the most reliable residential roof replacement company in Alabama and Mississippi. Whether it's addressing leaks, storm damage, or general wear and tear, Purple Turtle Roofing is going to be there to deliver exceptional roof repair for your property. They're the leading expert in local residential roofing solutions, specializing in providing unparalleled service and quality craftsmanship for all your roof replacement needs. Call Dustin Foley and his team today at 877-PT-ROOF-5 for your free roof inspection. That's 877-787-6635 to schedule your appointment, and one of their qualified employees will come check out your roof for free and make sure you're prepared for any and all of life's storms. Check them out online today at roofturtle.com. And of course, we are live in the Derek Daniel State Farm Studios. You can call Derek at 205-758-3391. Call and see how much Derek can save you today. Now, I think this is a more interesting topic. I mean, everybody's going to make a lot about Mark not scoring last night, and I don't really care that much. I know that maybe I talked about that, off court narratives, but I don't really put a lot of stock into any of that stuff. And so I don't really care about Mark's scoreless night. Alabama got to 100 and Mark didn't score. I think Mark's going to be able to find his. I think he'll be all right. I think he's going to be able to find his shooting stroke before too long. I think. Look, he's gone through shooting slumps at Alabama before. He will be a-okay. The bigs are interesting. I guess we talked about Grant right off the bat. So like he's there. Grant
is kind of one of those tweeners anyway, though.
Played really, really well. I think Grant not an A+, but an A.
Yeah.
I think he took one too many shots in his heat check era.
Yeah,
because he came out 1, 2, 3, and it was like, all right, great. And then it was like, here's another. And I was like, yeah, take it, brother. Like, go for it. And it was like, okay, he barely missed.
Yeah, he got one over in the corner that was questionable.
Yeah.
Like,
he got a layup, and it was like an easy layup. And I was like, all right, he's still cooking, great. And then he might have taken another 3 in really good rhythm, and then it was that third one, and I was like, "Oh, that was not."
And you could see it, you could feel it, you could see, even even the rest of the team, you could see the way they reacted getting back. It was like, he definitely one too many on the heat check there, but hey, I'm fine with it. If you come out that hot, you get to kind of do whatever you want. That's course.
Okay. Cliff Amore. You bring him in as your transfer, 6 points, 3 or 4 from the floor, 6 rebounds, 2 assists, 4 fouls. He only playing 15 minutes. Now he's plus 12 when he's in the game.
I'd like to see him in the game a little more, if possible.
But he can't. It's okay. So Coach talked about it last night. the foul trouble. Talked about struggling in drop coverage, struggling in getting used to drop coverage. It's not the way that Rutgers played defense, and that's getting him a little bit out of position, and his hands are just a little bit wild, and so thus you get the foul trouble. It's going to be very important. I mean, look, who cares about these November games? Yeah, it's fun to win, but it's going to be very important for him to work through this, because if he can master the drop coverage, you can be playing like you played late in Charles Bediaco's time with Alabama, where the defense was really, really, really good and really, really tough. Everybody knew their rotations. So he's just going to have to be out there. And this coming Tuesday against Houston, who's got a lot of bigs, who's going to be playing really tough. It's going to be another big challenge for Cliff. And maybe less on the scoring side of things, but he's just going to have to stay available by being a little bit better with his hands.
Yeah, I agree. You got to be able to get more than 15 minutes out of him, and him being in foul trouble, 20, limits his
20
time.
Would be nice.
Yeah,
21,
if you can get 20 to 22, that'd be a great spot for him, because obviously I know he is kind of dealing with some stuff that limits him a little bit, maybe. So
I don't want to overwork him, but you need him more than 15.
Yeah, 15. It's just not enough for what you need him to do for this team. 15 minutes isn't enough. They need him to be that kind of that big presence in the middle at some times, and he wasn't available at times during that game. I think Aiden Sherrill did a fine job, but I don't think he's quite ready to be the main guy there.
Good pivot, Aiden Sherrill. Not 2 minutes against Purdue, but 9 minutes against Illinois. 7 points, 3 of 7. 1 of 4 from the 3-point line.
Exactly why rebounds. I don't think he's quite ready to be up there.
4 rebounds, a block, a foul, 2 steals.
Yeah, 4 threes. That's too many. You don't need to take that many. We need you to be taking two a game max.
Well, he's got to make one, and so we got to get that make. I think was
so.
His
Do you
last.
get yeah? Was it? Yeah, I think you're right. I think it was his last one. Right? Yeah.
Good 3-pointer at 13-11. That was his last shot. Yeah, that was his last
one. But no, Aiden Sherrill, what are we doing, buddy? Get inside.
Well,
if you can do it, do it. But
I'm going to argue that you want him.
Yeah.
Were we talking about it last week with the spacing with Cliff Amore? I think you want him to be shooting these shots, and you want him to show these jokers that he can make these shots too.
Yeah, I mean, if he can make them.
I mean, they haven't been bad misses.
No,
it hasn't and
it's not like he wasn't really forcing up. He took fine shots.
Right,
he was open for all of them. They were in rhythm. Yes,
it was just.
But yeah, 1 for 4 for Aiden Sherrill.
It looks odd to see a 6'11" person just and it's just like
you barely have to live. Like right before we got on the show. I don't think he's fully. He's only a freshman. I don't think he's fully grown into his frame yet. He kind of has that. He's a little loose with his limbs, a little bit, a little sloppy with where he puts his hands. Sometimes I think he doesn't quite have 100% control of his body at all times. I don't think, but he will grow into that as the season goes on, as his career here at Alabama goes on. So I think he will develop into a very, very good player, and he's already a super solid one.
Yeah, so I liked what you saw out of Aiden.
I'm glad they got 9 minutes.
More minutes last night.
Yeah.
And I think you're just going to have to keep giving him this
7 points for him. Probably got his confidence back a little bit.
9 to 12 minutes a game. Is get him out there. Use his size.
I do remember. I think I remember the one foul that he had. Watching it, and you could immediately see him look over to Nate Oates, and Nate Oates just looked at him and said, "Put your hands up," because he just swatted at the guy. It was like, all right, we'll take it. But hey, he didn't get a foul the rest of the game, so obviously he takes some coaching. Well, I think Aiden Sherrill by the end of the season, we'll be talking about him as one of the most exciting players moving into the next year.
Little concern. Another night, no 3-point shots made for Jaron Stevenson. So he's up to like
0 for 16, I think, on the season.
Not so hot. Jaron, 4 points, 2 of 5, 0 of 3 from beyond the line, 2 rebounds and assists.
It's just tough for him because he's not taking bad shots.
Yeah, well, and again, another night where his threes, two of the three shots were coming off terrible passes.
Yeah. he will get it going eventually. That's all.
I'm confident.
Like
in
I
that.
believe that Nate Oates. I'm
confident in that.
Yes, I stand behind Nate Oates if Nate Oates stands behind him. I trust his opinion. He obviously has given him the green light to continue to shoot these shots because he knows he can make them, and we've seen him make them times before. But yeah, it's just he's really struggling in this early part of the season, and it just takes one to go in. He's just got to make that one, and then they'll probably start rolling. But I was happy to see him maybe pass up a couple opportunities last night to work it inside a little bit.
So Alabama wins 187, and look, let's just flip it as a whole to the defensive side of the floor. The biggest thing for me was, once again, you out Illinois 1.115, which is really not good again. As far as defensive points per possession, your saving grace was Alabama's pace, like the entire pace of the game played into Alabama's hands. And so while you're 5 games in and you've been harping on the defense, I really don't know if it's that improved. I really wonder if it's more of a when the pace of the game plays in Alabama's favor. You've seen this year, well, Alabama's going to run teams out of the gym just because of the talent is just too much. But when McNeese State or when Purdue are going to slow the game down, well, we'll see if you want to get into a little shooting contest, and we'll try to make it a little a little closer that way. I'm not at a level 10 concern.
No,
but
we're creeping up into where I'm starting to actually really kind of be like, oh man, is this going to be what holds this team back?
Now you forced 13 turnovers. Okay, great. And the pace. I mean, again, the pace was everything. Alabama's. Let's see. Your second. Your fast break. 19 fast break points.
To look at like the overall and kind of take out what the issue is, I think, because me and you touched on it. It's just like it stretches. 3 minutes here, a few minutes there, where they just decide collectively. It seems like, all right, we're up by 15. We can take the foot off the gas a little bit and just start shooting, just start playing fun, just start playing, pick up a little bit. And it's just, you can't do that. You are going to play teams that are better than Illinois. You're going to play teams this week potentially that are better than Illinois. You do not have the luxury of saying, all right, we'll take it easy for a little bit, get us a breather, and then all right, when they come back within 10, we'll turn it on, because some team along the way is going to come back so quickly and with so much ferocity that you will be unable to turn it back on and come back. It's a very, very you're playing too fast and loose here. It's a dangerous way to live.
So I agree with you, and then because you get up to 18. And Illinois has a couple 8-0 runs, 7-0 runs. And then Alabama restretches.
Then it's like, hey guys, splash water in the face. Let's play again. It's I don't know. It's not a recipe for a national championship winning basketball team
yet. Yeah, I mean, you still got that can be ironed out.
Absolutely,
that can be ironed out. All right, Mason. Let's move on from basketball. I didn't really plan a whole lot of football topics. Where are we at in time? We're at 43 minutes. So
we were right about the basketball talk going for a while.
Right. There are 43 minutes. Alabama's playing Oklahoma. We are flying out. We're traveling out tomorrow evening to get there. Just leave us with this. Your number one concern for this weekend going out to Norman.
Tornadoes. Probably a tornado.
So you're not concerned about Alabama potentially losing?
I am not concerned about Alabama potentially losing this game. I think
even after Alabama's lost on the road twice this year,
I think it'll be all right. I think they'll be okay. I don't believe that the fans in Norman, Oklahoma are super happy with what's happening currently anyway.
Yeah, but they're gonna be fired up. They're gonna be trying to get that signature win.
It's a little late for that.
If you beat Alabama and knock them out of the playoff, that's a signature win.
Look,
you can start building momentum for the future.
Yeah, I don't think it's happening. I've not seen anything from this Oklahoma team.
They'll get bowl eligible with a win over Alabama.
Yeah, I think you are right with that. But I've not seen anything from this Oklahoma team that gives me any worries. The best part about this Oklahoma team is their front seven on defense, and Alabama has a pretty great offensive line. They've played well the last few weeks. They might give him a little bit of trouble, but if they do, they've got Jalen Milroe back there who can get himself out of trouble. They've got Jam. They've got Justice who they can get the ball to. They've got guys, receivers who they can get. So I'm not really that worried. I think Oklahoma does not pose a ton of threats. Really, they're still down 3 wide receivers offensively. Jackson Arnold still likes to throw the ball just wherever he thinks he can. I think Alabama probably wins pretty convincingly. I'm not going to say it's a giant blowout or anything, but, probably in that like 35-10, 35-17 range, somewhere around there.
You think Texas quarterback Jalen Milroe is going to be fired up to play against Oklahoma?
Probably. I mean, I imagine he grew up. Yeah, I don't know what his allegiances were when he was a child, but I doubt.
Vince Young fan.
Yeah, I doubt he was an Oklahoma fan. So he probably grew up hating the Sooners, as many people from Texas do. So yeah, I bet he's fired up. Maybe he'll have some extra family at the game that's from the Texas area that doesn't potentially get to come to Tuscaloosa. Who knows?
All right, let's play a quick game before we get out of here. I saw this. This is totally hypothetical. I saw this yesterday on the social media machines. He said the hypothetical was, I propose the NFL, so we're going to treat this like the Titans, but we're also going to do this for Alabama. That the NFL makes it legal for one player on the roster to be taking performance-enhancing drugs, PEDs. So you allow one player to take PEDs. They are free to do it. They don't get suspended, but you only get one player. Which Tennessee Titan gets the designated PEDs? Who's the most effective? What changes the Titans season the most?
Give me Tavondre Sweat.
Oh,
I want to juice Tavondre Sweat up. I want him up to 500 pounds, and I want no one to be able to block him. That's what I would take.
So that's a good. So would it be Tim Keenan then?
Yeah, I think I'd go somebody along the defensive line and
just smashing guys up front.
Yeah,
he already is.
He'd be on kick field goal block too. I'd line him up over the right guard. Say, go in there and get us a field goal block, buddy. He'd be in there every time. He'd be a lead blocker on the goal line. Man, yeah.
96.
I'd juice him up.
I thought that
because I don't think you get enough value if you give it to a quarterback or something.
No,
what you're gonna throw the ball 20 yards farther? Who cares?
Jalen's already muscles everywhere.
You got to give it to one of the uglies,
and they're all muscles as well. But I think that I think that an extra 10%.
Yes.
Of the Jaden Roberts
or Parker Brailsford.
You get Tyler Booker on some oh my, he's gonna hurt somebody because he's already out there trying.
Maybe Robbie Oots.
I think that'd be dangerous. Robbie Oots on PEDs would be like
that'd be the Incredible Hulk. The government would come get him.
He'd lock him up. So yeah, that's I just thought it was a fun hypothetical when I saw it. I was like, what one player on your team?
I think it's got to be for me one of the uglies, a fullback or whatever. Offensive or
you're just a little faster.
Yeah.
That's not gonna matter. I don't think.
No, it's got to be something that's going to be game changing. And I think giving it to one of the guys inside just to put them over the limit, yeah,
just to make them just.
No, I don't know though.
Wreckers.
What about Bray Hubbard? Him just drilling guys across the middle.
Speaking of Bray Hubbard.
Bray Hubbard, can't move his neck. He's so big.
He already can. Oh my gosh, dude. That's where I wanted to go. Did you see him on the Ryan Williams Jalen Bobman podcast on the New Wave podcast?
Oh yeah,
their show is great. By the way, Ryan Williams, Jalen Backway. Let's do a home and home.
Yeah,
by
please.
The way. Home and home.
We got a studio
in the Dairy Daniels studio. Come on. It doesn't look as good as yours.
Hey,
but it's all right. We're getting there. They have Bray Hubbard on there, and he is just...
That man is a ball of muscle.
I was at the end of that episode, and it just hit me. I hadn't thought it the whole 18... It's like an 18-minute thing. And this may be terrible, but we're here at 49 minutes, so nobody's listening anyway. It hit me at the end of the episode. I said, that man is getting every woman he wants on campus. That man is getting any woman that he is just he's not like any typical person that you meet in Tuscaloosa in the sense that like there was nothing fraternity about him. There was nothing hoity-toity. He was very like I think Bray Hubbard, if he wasn't playing football,
Probably a pretty cool
he
guy.
might be a lineman.
Yeah.
Like working on the, or he might be in a coal mine, or he might be like
on a construction site somewhere.
But the reason why I say this, like to tie this back together, I think that he is entering social circles with lots of eligible ladies, and I think he's throwing them completely off. Like because he's unlike any of the other people. Like I will say I didn't watch the whole episode. I watched maybe 5 minutes of it or so, but he's just so
wasn't like I didn't anticipate. I didn't think he was different than I thought.
He wasn't engaging them.
Yeah,
it was so he plays the card of I don't care about this.
Yeah, much. I thought he'd be.
It's not that big a deal.
I had envisioned in my head he'd be a very like a team first kind of. Buttoned up kind of, but just didn't give it. He's just whatever, man.
Football,
he just likes to play ball.
I was on flag football and I got in trouble for hitting people, so they moved me up to play with my older brother. Hey, yeah, he just so matter of fact. Not to say that he doesn't care. Mm-hmm. That wasn't my impression.
No,
it was so the delivery was so. Dry that it was just like all matter of fact. I'm just playing football, and they talked about playing quarterback and how it helps them see the field, this, that, and the other. Like, yeah, I mean, I think there's only so many ways a quarterback can look off somebody, and I was just thinking about how I would look somebody off. There's only so many different ways. Like it was so simple that I thought one, like cool, like he seemed very down to earth, but two, he just seemed very different from a lot of football players that he used at the end. They were giving him a bunch of merchandise. They gave him a bunch of merchandise. What did he say? It wasn't sick. He said, "This is sick," and it wasn't. This is slick. It wasn't that. It was something else. It wasn't. This is busting or anything like that. It was something. It was something else that I hadn't heard in a long time.
Yeah, he seemed different.
Smooth. That's what he said. This is smooth, man. This stuff.
He's just an old country dude. Yeah, it's an old country dude, man. From the boonies.
Yeah. This is smooth.
I didn't. I went to the university. I didn't interact with a ton of football players in my time there, but the couple I did, some of them were cool, some of them were not so cool, and he definitely seems like one of the cooler ones.
Yeah, he seems like he'd give you a head nod in class. He gives you, oh, thanks, man.
Yeah, he doesn't seem like he'd shoo you off if you tried to ask him about something.
Yeah. Hey, great game last week. Oh, thanks, man. It'd probably get you one of those. And
so if you see Bray Hubbard, maybe go say hello.
That would probably be a cool guy. Cool episode with Bray. I asked him about what his butt chewing with Coach Saban. His Coach Saban story. He says he's a freshman. They're on a bye week, getting ready to go home for Thursday, Friday, whatever bye week. And he's talking about how many checks there are in the Coach Saban defense. And he says they're in what did he say? They're in overload, I think is what he said. They're in trips, they're in overload, something like that. And so we're checking, and I messed up a check. And Coach Saban runs up and yells at him. He says, oh, you're just thinking about going home, getting out of here, going back to Mississippi. There ain't nothing there anyways. Yada, 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 yada. And he's like yelling at him. And he says that later in like the next day or so, as they're getting ready to leave, he says they just coincidentally are going out to the facility together. And Coach Saban looked at him and said, hey, man, be safe, have a good time, back home for a couple days. And Bray says, I turned back to him and said, there ain't nothing there anyway. And he said they both cracked up and laughed.
That's so good.
Like, that's what I'm trying to say. Like, I think he throws, I bet you that those on campus, those young ladies are, he's just throwing their radar on a completely different vibe.
He seems like a cool dude.
And so, that was a fun episode. Let's get out of here for the day. It's been a lot of fun on the Joe Gaither Show, BSing about football and a little bit of basketball, talking about Alabama's big win with Mason Woods in the Derek Daniels State Farm Studios. You can find us at Joe Gaither 6 or right there on Bama Central's YouTube channel, wherever you get your podcast, The Joe Gaither Show on Bama Central. We're going to get out of here for the day. We appreciate Purple Turtle Roofing, Derek Daniels State Farm, Druid City Music Hall, and more for sponsoring the program. We'll talk to you tomorrow right here on Football Friday before we go to Norman on The Joe Gaither Show on Bama Central and BamaCentral.com.
Thanks for joining us on today's edition of the Joe Gaither Show on Bama Central. Keep up with Joe on all his social media pages at Joe Gaither6. Subscribe, rate, and review the show on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, and be sure to read us daily at BamaCentral.com.